Hey guys, this is Ilham from It's About Watch Reviews. Here again with another watch that I like to review for you guys. It's the Seiko SNM035. This Seiko watch is a dive watch. You can actually tell from the dial here. It's automatic and it's a diver's watch rated for 200 meters. I'm going to tell you a little bit of just the specs for now. So this watch is 43 to 44 millimeters wide, so it's from this point all the way to the other side of the case there. It's fairly chunky. This watch is very chunky. If I rotate this so you can see the height, it's about 14 to 15 millimeters tall. And so it does sit rather high on your wrist. And I'll show you a wrist shot here in a bit. So this is dubbed the Seiko Land Monster. If you're a Formite, or if you're a Formite and you've kind of browsed around the internet, this is really what this watch is being called. This is a U.S. model only. This is a U.S. release. Seiko has a lot of models that are international. Unfortunately, this one you'll need to either purchase in the U.S. or in the U.S. domestic market. Now, I purchased this watch about 2 years ago, so in 2010, and I believe they actually stopped making this watch, so it's rather hard to find currently. So again, the width is 43 to 44, it's about 50 millimeters tall. This one comes on a bracelet, on a stainless steel bracelet. And let me tell you a little bit more about why this watch is unique and why I really like it. So first you'll see there's two crowns. One actually will control in the date setting and the time setting. The other crown controls an inner rotating bezel. So you'll see on the bezel there's looks like a directional compass. There's north, west, south, and east. So the watch that this Seiko is being controlled by, the movement is called an SNM035. It's a 23 jewel movement. It has a date feature here. This is a little bit different than your SNM026 movement that's widely used, again, in the Seiko 5 collections and also in the Seiko Monster. Again, the additional 2 jewels really has no effect, and you can actually tell this movement number. I'm going to open up the bracelet. See if you can see it there. It's very small, but it is on the case. Let's see, yeah, you can't really tell at the moment. Yeah, there it is, SNM035. So right there, we'll be able to focus on that SNM035. Again, very small and kind of hard to see there, but that does denote the movement. So again, I'm going to unscrew this crown at 2 o'clock. This is a screw down crown, and this movement you can't hand wind it, so it really just is an automatic movement, just like the other Seiko kind of quality movements that do not hand wind, and so you'll just have to either shake the watch to start it up or start wearing it on your wrist and keep it that way. The other thing too is, again, this is its neutral position. Once I have unlocked this, I'm going to pull it out to its first position. This controls the date. So if I turn it away from me, you'll see the date start changing. Okay. And if I pull it out to its next position, notice that the seconds hand doesn't stop. So this movement also, 1, does not hand wind, and 2, does not hack. So hacking just means that when you're in time setting mode, the seconds hand stops. And if you guys are, again, well versed in these movements or movements that are in Seiko's dive line, Seiko 5 line, a lot of them do not hack. And I don't have an issue with that, but some people do see it as a negative. It's harder to sync up with another time source. So, if you have a cell phone, I'm just going to keep on winding this so that you can see the date change. You'll see the date change is also not instant. It's a gradual date change starting from around 11:15, 11:30, and by 12 o'clock it does change. So at around 11:30, 11:40 at night, you might see it. You might actually be in between dates, so it'll be in between 5 and 6 there, as you saw. So if you're used to kind of a quick set date where the date stays, where it instantly changes at 12, this is a little bit different. And again, some people might see that as a negative. I don't. I don't really have a preference there, so I'm going to push this back in. I normally explain how to screw down a screw-down crown, but in this case, I'm going to assume that a lot of you know how to screw down a screw-down crown. So I'm just going to close it. So there it is. Now, really, the difference between this dive watch from Seiko and to the Seiko Monster, which is SKX781, the orange Monster, SKX779, the black Monster, is this kind of this compass. It's not magnetic. It's a mechanical compass. It's controlled by this crown at 4 o'clock. So I'm going to unscrew that. And you'll notice it turns bidirectionally. And you'll notice the compass ring there rotate. Now, I've never used this, but basically you'll need to have kind of a reference point, and there are definitely instructions on how to use this mechanical compass. You'll find that online as well, but I've never used it, nor have I needed to use it. So, again, it's just a cool little feature there. To kind of put it back, you can just push it in, and then just close it. Like that. Perfect. Another thing about the case, other than the fact that it's rather thick, which is so this watch has a great feel to it, is that it has lug holes. So you'll see there, it's got lug holes. Very easy to change this bracelet out if you wanted to. So again, you can change this out pretty quickly. You can use a pin, or you can, if you don't have a watch toolkit, you can in fact just use a paper clip, straighten out that paper clip, and push that in there. Very easy to take this bracelet out. And then just really transitioning to this really great bracelet. This is all stainless steel, solid. It's not hollow. It does come with a fold-over clasp with dual push buttons. So you'll see there's one button there, the other button there. And there's a fold-over clasp with safety. So the Seiko is stamped right above there. This is very similar to Seiko's other bracelets, like the Monster, just a little bit different in construction. I'm going to flip this over now and show you that it does have solid end links. What we like to call SEL links. So solid end links just mean that this piece here that connects to the lugs, and also that holds the pins there. This piece is solid, so it's not hollow. What that means is it's very sturdy. It's really that's the main connection that keeps the bracelet on the watch itself. So, again, a great feature of this watch at this price point. I purchased this watch for about $200, $230 maybe. Again, this was in 2010. So the other feature of this bracelet, again, I don't want to ramble on and on, but I do want to talk about this, is that if you're a diver and you're on in a wetsuit or a dry suit, that suit is very thick. And so this watch, you don't want to resize your watch every time you dive, and then once you have your suit off, you'll have to resize it again. This watch has a very handy diving extension, and that's actually built in right underneath here. So I'm going to try to take that off for you and show you. So I'm just going to slip this card in there. Should just be able to pry that off. So you'll see there, so this was connected to this piece. I pried it off. Now, I don't know if you saw that. Now you've just gained about another ½ an inch of a bracelet without having to resize your bracelet. And then to put it back, there's a little hook right there, and that hook goes to this bar. So I'm going to put that hook on this bar, as such, and then this piece, I'm going to push back so that it connects back to this. So here I go. Oh, release back out there. Let's see if it'll work. There we go. Got that to work. So now it's back on. So again, that's another very cool feature of this watch. So another feature is, again, like all dive watches, this has a unidirectional bezel. You can turn it one way, can't turn it the other way. And that's just a safety feature. It does have a loom pipe, I guess. Right here, I'm going to use a pen here and I'll show you. Right there. The loom itself on the dial of this watch is not as strong as the Seiko Monster. The Seiko Monster really has set the bar for mid-range dive watches. It actually challenges a lot of the higher end watches as well. But this watch, if you have both, if you're looking to get this watch and you're comparing it to the Seiko Monster, it will not have that high loom as a Seiko Monster, but it will have decent loom. So I'd say average to above average for this dive watch. I'm going to flip this over again. I'm going to look at the case back. This specific watch was made in 2007. And I'm going to explain to you actually how I came about that. Seiko uses a serial numbering system. You can see that very clearly. But it's definitely etched onto most of the Seiko dive watches. And so you'll see there it starts with the 771108. The first two digits, actually the first digit there, which is the 7, denotes the year. So in this case, I know that this watch came out, in 2000 at some point. Not 2000, but that's kind of the decade 2000. And the 7 just denotes that last unit. So 2007. And the number 7 denotes the month number. So this watch was physically made in 2007 in July. So you'll see the double 7s there. Let's see if I can get it to focus. 771188. So again, that's a unique serial number. So yeah, this watch again is a dive watch. I've used it. I'm going to show you a wrist shot now. My wrist is about 7¼ inches. Again, the diameter of this watch is about 43. It's not too overpowering. This is probably about as big as I'll go with any watch. What I like about this too is the bezel is actually colored. So this watch altogether is a combination of brushed and polished stainless steel. So if you look at the sides, they're polished. So the sides of the case are polished on both sides. Really polished. It does like to attract fingerprints too, but the tops of these watches, they're brushed. And the bezel itself is kind of that brushed look. The bracelet has a combination of both brushed and polished as well. But definitely a tool watch and not blingy at all. Excuse me. So yeah, I don't want to, again, kind of ramble on and on here, but just a review of a great dive watch from Seiko, the SNM035, US market only. If you can't find this, you'll definitely have to search high and low now for this watch. It has been discontinued. I'm going to close the Seiko watch band. I'm going to show you that clasp. It's very sturdy. And it's powered by a 23 jewel Seiko 7S35 automatic movement. So if you guys end up getting one, do let me know. If you have any questions, post away. And again, this is Ilham from It's About Watch Reviews. Thanks again, guys.